What team is the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC? And no, Kansas City fans, the answer is not yourselves. I'm not finna take that as a legitimate answer. I think that there are three teams in the AFC that have a really good chance at being able to knock off Kansas City this year. My first one, you guys already know who I'm going with. The Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. Y'all boys know I love me some Joe Burrow. And the Bengals have gotten right with Kansas City for the last two seasons. And last year, Cincinnati came really close to beating Kansas City again. And there's a reason why they call Arrowhead Burrowhead. My boy Joe Burrow is without a doubt the second best quarterback in the NFL. And although he's not on the same level as Patrick Mahomes, I don't think he's too far off. Like Joe Burrow, this dude is my favorite player in the league right now. And when you look at Cincinnati, the only thing that has held them back from not only winning the Super Bowl, but also being able to beat Kansas City last year was that damn offensive line. And you thought that their offensive line was going to be fixed up and good enough to beat Kansas City last year, but it severely underperformed. So this offseason, what did they do again? They continue to upgrade the offensive line. They bring in Orlando Brown at left tackle. They're going to be kicking Jonah Williams out to right tackle. So this offensive line should be more than good enough to be able to beat Kansas City. We know how good this defense is going to be with Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, remaining on the staff. He had a couple of head coaching interviews. He didn't get any of those head coaching jobs. I have a strong feeling that he's going to be a head coach somewhere next year. So when you have Lou Anarumo coming back, you know that your defense is going to be able to give Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense a lot of problems. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce always say that Lou Anarumo's defense gives them the most difficult time every single time they play. And if the offensive line ends up finally gelling and coming together, the Cincinnati Bengals probably have the best shot out of all the teams at being able to knock off Kansas City. Now, what about the Baltimore Ravens? Because I think a lot of people are really sleeping on Baltimore when it comes to the Super Bowl conversation. And you can say I'm overrating the Ravens all you want to, but with the additions that they made this offseason, they bring in offensive coordinator Todd Monken, you bring in OBJ, you draft Zay Flowers, you have Rashad Bateman, you guard Mark Andrews. The Baltimore Ravens had a top 10 defense last year. All they needed was for this offense to finally give Lamar Jackson some legitimate weapons in the passing game. And they did that. They also upgraded that offensive coordinator. Todd Monken is going to be able to elevate Lamar Jackson. He is going to unlock Lamar Jackson's full potential. You guys ever watch that episode of Dragon Ball Z when they went to planet, I think it was Namek, with all the green people, and they went to see the Grand Elder, and one of those people put their hands on who it was. I don't remember who it was, but they ended up unlocking somebody's full potential. That's what Todd Monken is going to do with Lamar Jackson. And I don't give a damn about what Lamar Jackson has done in the playoffs in the past, because you don't win football games based on history. The Baltimore Ravens have a fantastic coaching staff, they have a great defense, and they're going to have a really good offense. And Lamar Jackson is finally going to have enough weapons to be able to go to Arrowhead and knock off Patrick Mahomes if the opportunity presents itself. I think that the Ravens are definitely a legitimate threat in the AFC to Kansas City. Y'all people keep trying to judge these teams based on what they done did in the past. Y'all make it seem like Lamar Jackson would never be able to be a successful quarterback in the playoffs. And it's not like Lamar Jackson doesn't have a playoff win. All he really needed was a good supporting cast and a solid offensive coordinator. And Lamar Jackson has that. Now, this last team that I'm going to bring up, it's probably going to surprise a lot of people, but I'm going with the New York Jets. The New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, man, I think they're good enough to win this conference. The New York Jets almost made it to the postseason last year with Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, and Mike White at QB. If they can win the amount of games that they did last season with those quarterbacks, I'm pretty sure they should be able to be a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. Now, we don't know what version of Aaron Rodgers we're going to get, but I don't think that the New York Jets need MVP caliber Aaron Rodgers to be able to win this conference. They're going to have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and you got to remember that this defense was already elite last year, given the fact that the offense was god-awful. When you have an offense that's able to actually be efficient and sustain drives, it helps out your defense because your defense doesn't have to be on the field for as many plays as what they were last year. And when I look at the New York Jets, man, Aaron Rodgers came out a couple of days ago, and this man said he's having a lot of fun. He's had the most fun in the 6 weeks that he's been with the New York Jets up to this point than he has had his last couple of years in Green Bay. And y'all may think that Aaron Rodgers is being a diva and he's being petty, but you can see it out there. You want to know why Aaron Rodgers is having fun? Because he actually has a team that has the weapons that he needs to be able to win a Super Bowl. Y'all remember when y'all was doubting Tom Brady when he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And y'all was like, oh, JT, I don't know if it's going to work, man. You got COVID. I don't think the Buccaneers and him are going to be able to get the chemistry down pat, yada, yada, yada. And what happened? Tom Brady got it done. The reason why Tom Brady left New England was because he knew at his age he wasn't going to be able to still perform at a high level and win a championship if he doesn't have the necessary weapons around him. And Aaron Rodgers knew that during his time in Green Bay. And Green Bay, every time they had the opportunity to get a good receiver in the first round, these fools always went ahead and either they drafted a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, or they traded up for Jordan Love. If you was Aaron Rodgers, would that not piss you off too? The New York Jets, man, I think that they're going to get a really good version of Aaron Rodgers. It's not like he's going to a situation where he has to learn a completely new offense. You got Nathaniel Hackett there. And although we knew that Nathaniel Hackett was a whiff at head coach during his time at the Denver Broncos, him and Russell Wilson just weren't a good fit. The scheme and offense that he was running was not good for Russell Wilson's skill set. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a way better fit in that offense because Nathaniel Hackett and him have already spent time together during their time when they was in Green Bay. So for Aaron Rodgers, he's pretty much going to be picking up from where he left off, going to the New York Jets, not really having to learn the whole entire playbook. He's going to have a lot of familiarity, and he's going to be really comfortable. The only thing when it comes to Aaron Rodgers is how long is it going to take for him to click with his new receivers. This is one of the most talented teams in the AFC. I mean, they're stacked at receiver. Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard is a good deep threat. He also can be a really good number 2, number 3 wide receiver at times. The offensive line is pretty good. Let's not forget about Mecole Hardman. I mean, this dude wasn't a jabroni when he was playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was actually pretty solid at times. I just feel like he was underutilized at times during his stint with the Kansas City Chiefs. Breece Hall is going to be coming back fully healthy, even though we wonder if this is going to be the same Breece Hall that we saw before he went down with that injury. And then your offensive line is a little bit better than what a lot of people give it credit for, and we already know about what this defense is going to bring to the table. If you're Kansas City, you really don't want to see the New York Jets, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship. You damn sure don't want to see the Cincinnati Bengals. Be honest, Kansas City, out of all these teams I just mentioned, the last team you really want to see is Cincinnati, bro. Because you know what Joe Burrow does when he goes to Burrowhead. I mean, that was your first time beating Joe Burrow at home in how long? Joe Burrow runs Arrowhead, man. I know it's called Arrowhead Stadium, but for right now, it's still called Burrowhead until y'all can even up the score. This man, Joe Burrow, runs Arrowhead, man, and y'all got really lucky last time y'all played Cincinnati. Y'all really did. And Joe Burrow also folded late in that game, but I promise you, you don't want to see Cincinnati in the AFC Championship, and you definitely don't want to see Lamar Jackson. You already got to account for his rushing ability. Now he's going to be able to air the football out because he's going to have an offensive coordinator that's going to have some legitimate passing concepts that's going to give Steve Spagnuolo's defense some problems. The New York Jets finally got a QB. Y'all better watch out. Now, I'm not going to overlook Buffalo, but I just feel like Buffalo's time has kind of passed, man. Like, I mean, I know Buffalo's going to be in the mix, man, but I don't like Buffalo more than I like the Jets, the Ravens, and the Bengals. I mean, their time passed, man. The AFC has gotten a lot better since the last time we saw Kansas City and Buffalo match up in the postseason. But these are the teams that I think are the biggest threats to Kansas City and the AFC this year.